Getting killed for scoring an own goal is unimaginable, but that actually happened. Keep watching, and we will let you know all about it. Did you know that football players have some of the biggest secrets? Yes, they do. And some of these secrets have been brought to the light of day, as we will show you. Disclaimer: some of these secrets are unbelievable. So let's get started. Erling Haaland scored triple hat tricks in one game. The Manchester City player became the first player in Premier League history to score a hat trick in 3 consecutive home games, after his treble against Manchester United. Surprisingly, the Norwegian international has scored 17 goals in just 11 games for the Citizens. To break the all-time league record of 34 goals, he now needs to achieve 21 goals in 30 games. Another day, another record for Erling Haaland. The Norwegian and his City teammate Phil Foden scored hat tricks as Pep Guardiola's side thrashed Manchester United 6-3 in the Premier League. Man City is only the 3rd team in Premier League history to have 2 hat trick scorers in the same game, following Arsenal vs Southampton in May of 2003, Jermaine Pennant and Robert Pires, and Leicester vs Southampton in October of 2019, Eos Perez and Jamie Vardy. If that's not crazy enough, he also got a triple hat trick in one game. Yes, you heard that right. Erling Haaland scored 9 goals for Norway in the 2019 FIFA U20 World Cup in Poland, helping his team to a 12-0 victory over Honduras. His impressive performance earned him the Golden Boot as the top scorer in the tournament, despite not scoring in any other game. Haaland's 9 goals were more than double the amount scored by any other player in the competition. Zlatan Ibrahimovic almost got killed by a serial killer. In Sweden, a convicted murderer admitted to attempting to shoot Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Between 2003 and 2010, Peter Mangs, also known as the Malmö street shooter, was involved in 15 shootings in the city. He murdered 1 person and was convicted of 7 other attempted murders. Mangs, who is now imprisoned, has written a book about his life, in which he chillingly reveals that he returned home to get a gun after seeing the PSG striker's car parked illegally. Mangs, a well-known xenophobe, described the parking as typical Balkan behavior, referring to Zlatan's Eastern European heritage. Fortunately, Ibrahimovic had driven away by the time the assassin returned with his pistol. Now, from one legend to another. Ronaldinho, the Brazilian former FIFA Player of the Year, had been released after more than a month in custody and was ordered to serve house arrest at a luxury hotel. At the same time, he was being investigated for entering the country with a forged passport. Ronaldinho and his brother Roberto de Assis had both been ordered to post bail for €740,000 each. The ex-Barcelona and AC Milan player, who helped Brazil win the World Cup in 2002, was imprisoned on March 6th, after entering the small South American country with a forged Paraguayan passport. In a hearing, he told authorities that the document was a gift from a Brazilian businessman, Wilmondes Sousa Liria, who was also in prison. Ronaldinho's Brazilian passport was seized in Brazil as part of an investigation into alleged environmental crimes, but it was returned to him in September. He played in an Israeli friendly a month later. He faced up to 5 years in prison if he were to be convicted. The case was being investigated by 14 people. Ronaldinho visited Paraguay to promote his autobiography. He was imprisoned in an impoverished penitentiary in Asuncion South, which houses 150 dangerous criminals, including drug dealers, corrupt officials, and rapists. During his stay, he played football with the inmates and took photos with them that he later posted on social media. I guess it's not a bad thing to be a football legend in prison. Lightning kills a football team in Congo. Football fans in the Central African state of Congo hurled accusations of witchcraft at each other after a freak bolt of lightning killed an entire football team on the playing field while leaving their opponents unharmed. The bizarre weather blow to all 11 members of the football team was reported in Kinshasa, Congo's capital, by the daily newspaper L'Avenir. The suspicion that the Black Arts were involved arose first because the opposing team emerged unscathed, and then because the score at the time was delicately balanced. Throughout Western and Central Africa, witchcraft is frequently blamed for natural disasters. It is not uncommon for football teams to hire witch doctors to cast hexes on their opponents. Andres Escobar was killed because of his own goal. The assassination of Colombian defender Andres Escobar is one of the darkest chapters in South American football history. The 27-year-old center-back represented his country in the United States at the 1994 World Cup. Escobar's attempt to intercept a cross resulted in an own goal in a crucial game against the host nation. Colombia eventually lost that game 2-1, exiting the tournament at the group stage despite being one of the favorites to advance to the knockout stage. Escobar quickly became an enemy of his own people. Still, he decided to return there just days after his team exited the World Cup, saying, "He must show my face to the people." Escobar was shot 6 times in a parking lot near a nightclub 5 days later on July 2, 1994. The killers were said to have shouted "goal" after each shot. Humberto Castro Muaz, a bodyguard for a drug cartel boss who allegedly lost a lot of money after betting on the game against the U.S., was convicted of Escobar's murder. The prosecutors lacked the evidence to prove that the bodyguard was carrying out his boss's orders. Crazy how you can get killed for scoring an own goal. Before we go on, please subscribe. Neymar grew up in extreme poverty and became the highest-paid player in football history. Neymar Sr., his father, had given up a failed football career and worked 3 jobs to make ends meet. The family was so impoverished that there was sometimes no electricity. During these times, Neymar's father sat with them and discussed their hopes and dreams. He couldn't see his son play because he was too busy, so this was his only chance. Neymar grew up in a small room with his family, where he learned the value of relationships. He is now one of the most expensive and talked about soccer players worldwide. Lionel Messi battled to win the World Cup. The little boy makes it big because what he lacks in physical growth, he more than makes up for in talent. The Argentine, considered better than Diego Maradona by some, could not score as a child because he was too small. He used to play soccer with his friends and would walk past them almost miraculously to get to the door. And it will end there because he is incapable of scoring. And why is this so? He suffers from a severe lack of growth hormones. Treatment is affordable, but the money is not. And although various clubs offer assistance, they fail to keep their promises. As a result, Messi's father issued an ultimatum to Barcelona, stating that he would not join them unless they funded his treatment. They agree to the terms because he is not a player who must be released. Leo signs there and then contracts on a napkin because there isn't enough paper. Today, he is regarded as the greatest soccer player in history. As he won the World Cup in Qatar, he is regarded as the GOAT of football. Did you know that Messi took pills during football matches? Check out the next video to learn more about this strange habit.